So so my name is Missy Searl. I'm parent navigator for half of the school families in HRCE, and Stephen Summers is the parent navigator for the other half. When you look on the HRCE school site and you look up the school that your children attend, you will see, when you scroll to the bottom of the page, the parent navigator that is designated for your child's school. So that way, Stephen's more familiar with certain schools, I'm more familiar with other schools, but you can reach out to either of us. It doesn't matter if we're your parent navigator or not, but there's our contact information and our extension and our phone. We are located at 33 Spectacle Drive in Burnside, and the student services in the head office. Because of COVID, of course, we do most of our meetings over the phone with parents, via email, and as of late, of course, Zoom. So we are very accessible. Stephen, did you want to speak to this?
Sure. Well, thank you all for attending and having us here. It's good to be able to kind of connect with other people that we've worked with in the past, but also just to be able to reach out to some parents and be able to present what we do and what our role is, especially in the area of inclusion, because I know there's a lot of parents who are looking for someone who can maybe just direct them and guide them through the process. HRCE is a big entity. It's a big organization. And so a lot of times parents just say, we have no idea who to talk to or where to go in this instance. So that's part of the reason why the parent navigator was created, the position of the parent navigator. And I'll just read what's on the screen here. You can see it as well. But it started in 2018. It was created as a result of provincial funding for inclusion education supports to help ensure students have the tools and supports to succeed in school. Now, our role is to assist parents and guardians of HRCE students in finding, accessing services available in education, justice, health, community services, and more. When the position first came out, people were like, well, what is it? Are you the people that hold on to the resources? Do you have the money to do this, this, and this? But that's not really what our role is. We don't hold on to any money. We don't have any access to that. What we do is we connect with parents, or parents connect with us, and we lead them towards the resources that we know of, whether that be people within the school system itself, whether that would be someone in the community. For instance, if someone came and says, well, we're looking for a parent group for women, we are immigrant family or newcomer family, and we're looking for a group to connect with, we would direct them towards IMWAH. And we would, say, here's a possibility out here. Here's a resource for you to connect with. We would connect them there. It's the same thing within the school. If they call us saying we are looking for such and such a resource, then we would direct them to the right person that they need to go to. So parent navigators are available to help parents find the support that they need, so their children may achieve success inside and outside of the school. As Missy said, we're available to chat through telephone, through email, through Zoom meeting. Before COVID, we even met with parents at a place that they felt safe at, and spoke to them about some of the needs as well. And our job really is to provide non-judgmental support listening to parents and guardians, to act as a liaison between parents, guardians, and the services available to them. I say that, to act as a liaison, because when our position comes up, a lot of people think that we are going to be their advocate. With our role, we are supposed to merely navigate, not so much be an advocate. So it's not that we don't take your concerns to other people. It's just we really want to see parents advocate for themselves and for their children. So we can help in some ways, And we do advocate in ways. I mean, there have been times where we've gone to someone within the school and said, listen, this parent really needs help. Is there a possibility to be able to access this help and this help and this help? And we do advocate in some ways, but we are really navigators. We are directing parents to the right resource and the right person that they're to talk to as well. We also communicate with student services and school admin according to what the parents' needs are and also their questions. And we also speak with HRCE specialists, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit, but about attending teams and meeting to support students as well. And then a lot of families call us and just say, we don't understand these processes, you know, with registration, with out of area requests, even with the process of IPPs. And so we speak with families about some of those processes and we try to help them through that. And again, if we don't know all of the information, then we send them on to someone who specifically works in those areas. So that's how our job came to be, and that's kind of what our job is in a nutshell, is to, again, to work with parents, to know the resources and network with other groups, and then be able to direct parents to the right place.
Oh, okay. Come on. Oh no. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So Stephen and I are located in the student services section of the board. So we have, you know, we're connected to a great network of resources. Parents call. Sometimes we can actually put them on hold and run to somebody's desk. Or give them a call. And so it's great to have those resources right at our fingertips so that we can support our students and families right away. And as well, we have, you know, staff sometimes even reach out to us, principals, for some support. So there's specialized supports, of course, are available within each school and are with regional teams. And again, you do see that on the school, when you go to the HRCE page, when you do look for your specific school, you can scroll down and you can see who is the student support facilitator, who's the parent navigator, those sorts of things. Those are listed on the key page. And then when you click into the school's website itself, you'll see like the school social worker, things like people like that are listed on the site. We have access to our student services facilitators. They're actually on the same floor as us. So when we do have a parent concern come to us, we have instant access if they're, you know, if they are available to sit down and chat through parents' concerns right away. So we are quite fortunate. So supports are generally accessed through each school's admin staff. So when a family or a parent do have concerns about supports, we get them to go through the order, basically the rank. Have you spoke to the principal? Have you spoke to your child's guidance counselor? Have you spoke to the teacher? That sort of thing. And then if they have, and they feel that they haven't, accessed the supports that they do need, then we would speak to the student facilitators, who of course oversee the supports that are in place to support the child's success. And, so they, of course, would, speak to the parents, speak to the teacher, that sort of thing. And again, if parents, feel that they're still not getting the answers or supports that they do need, we also have access to our admin supervisors who oversee all of the administration. So things like bullying, registration, even situations with principals, and international student services that they're also, located in our building. Things like capacity in classrooms and even the code of conduct. And as well, we have access to the transportation team who deal with all the HRCE busing issues.
I think it's important as you look at this slide to remember. So if you are a parent who has a child that has special needs or falls under that umbrella of inclusion, I think it's really important to understand that everything starts at a school level. Okay. So a lot of times we do have parents who will call us and say, well, we want to speak to so-and-so about this resource, or we want to, how do we access this resource? Or my child is struggling in this area. How do I access this resource? And the first question is for us is, have you brought this up to the teacher? Have you brought this up to the principal of the school? And most of the times they have said, yes, the teacher has recognized this. But there's a lot of times where they will say, well, no, we haven't really spoke to anyone about it. Okay. And so for parents, it's really important to understand that the principal is the one who really kind of oversees their school and the resources that run through it, and getting teams together to help a child be more successful in their academics. So when you're trying to access any kind of support and you see that maybe your child needs some extra support in an area, the best thing to do is what Missy had said. You start right at the very base, and that's with the principal, the teacher, the school counselors, right within the school. Okay. Very, very important. Start right there. The school facilitator, you'll see where it says, or the student facilitator, you see here it says the student facilitator oversees supports for the student success. Typically what happens is if you speak to a principal and the principal sees that there is more supports that's needed for a child, they will try to put the supports there. But if they feel that they don't have the support available, or they need to speak to someone else about possibly more support, then they will get in contact with the student facilitator. And the student facilitator will help oversee some of the supports for the principal for the student success. So I just wanted to really note that, because we are talking about inclusion. And like I say, it has to start at a school level. If you try at a school level to maybe address some situations or some issues, and you don't feel that it's that you're being heard, or that things are being worked through or modified or corrected, then you could contact us, or you could contact a student facilitator and say, I would really like some extra support here. I've reached out to the school, to the principal, but I'm just not getting anywhere with this. And I was wondering if there was someone else that I could speak to. And that's very common. But we would always encourage you to start at the very base, and that's at your home school, with your teacher, with the guidance counselor, with the principals of the school. And I guess that's a good segue into this.
I was just going to say, so this is what Stephen is speaking to.
This is just a visual to kind of show you the process.
Oh, sorry.
Of what happens if you do have a concern. Okay, this is called the parent guardian concern policy. And if you can see over here, you are the parent, you are the guardian, you have some concern, and the concern could be anything. It could be your child's learning, it could be accessibility, it could be bullying, it could be anything. Okay, any concern that you would have. Sometimes as parents, and I know I'm a parent, sometimes as parent, I want to talk to, the top person at the top of this organization. But what we want you to do is we encourage you within your school, like I say, is to start right at the base, start at the school. Okay, that's where you need to start. So if you have a concern, then what would happen is, if we follow this chart, you are a parent. If you have a concern about your child who is in a classroom, then you would address that first with the teacher. Okay? You bring the concern, you say, I'm very concerned about my child in this area. You would go to the teacher, you would explain that concern to the teacher. And you see here, after you speak to the teacher, can the concern be resolved with the teacher? Maybe it can be. Maybe it can be. And so you say, okay, good, it's done. It's resolved. I'm happy with the resolution. But if it's unresolved, then what you would do is you would speak to the principal. You go to the principal and you say, I've spoken to the teacher about this. The situation doesn't seem to be resolved. It's not getting any better. And so I need to speak to you about it. And many times this is where the parent goes to, and the principal says, okay, let's try to implement this. They speak with the teacher, they try to come up with a solution, and it is resolved. There are times where the parent has called us and said, you know what, I've spoken to the teacher, I've spoken to the principal, it's just still not resolved. I still don't know what to do. It's still continuing on. And again, it could be any situation, not just inclusion, but it could be any situation, all right? So after that, what would happen is, after speaking to the principal, we would direct you to speak to either school administration, depending on what the situation is. If it's an area of resource, normally, because this is an inclusion form, with areas of inclusion and with areas of learning and resource, then we would direct you towards the student services facilitator. Okay, so the teacher first, the principal, it's not resolved, so then you would go to the student services facilitator, and from there you would tell that person, whether it's a school admin or a facilitator, you would tell them what the issue is. They would speak to the principal, see what has been done. They would speak to the teacher to see if there's any helps that they could put, any solutions that they could help out with. And so it is a bit of a process, and it's set up that way, again, so that it can be dealt with, first of all, within the school, and then as need be, you would add other people to the solution to try to come up with a good resolution for the problem. All right. If it does get to a point where it goes to school admin and you are not happy with the resolution with school admin, then it can go on from there. It can go on to more of the director of the school. Maybe an investigation has to be made. You can initiate a formal complaint in that area. But normally with all of our situations, most of our situations, it gets dealt with, again, from the teacher to the principal and then into school admin at central office, and they try to come up with a solution there. So there is a place, if you are a concerned parent, there is a place and a process for you to voice your concerns and try to have those concerns met.
Thank you, Stephen. My first week, I think it was on the job back in October, poor Stephen had to talk me through this form, and I had an accessibility situation with a family, and it was, she spoke to the teacher couldn't resolve that, spoke to the principal, of course the principal couldn't resolve that. And so when it does come to something like accessibility, we understand that, something like, an elevator or ramps and things like that, of course the teacher can't quickly resolve, but it can come to us really, really fast. And it went straight to school admin, who took it right to operations and get rid of that accessibility issue right away for that family. So, some things we understand the teacher and principal can't deal with, but, it'd be great just to at least say, yeah, I talked to the teacher just couldn't deal with that, nor could the principal. So we are here for you for situations as such.